Caddell remained a force in the Democratic Party for a time, an increasingly bizarre amalgam of Machiavelli and Don Quixote. He was directly involved in 3 more presidential campaigns: Gary Hart in 1984, Joe Biden in 1988, and Jerry Brown in 1992, and he kibitzed in several others, almost always with the same strategy, the candidate as anti-establishment populist outsider. He won a few battles. He prepared Walter Mondale for his very successful first debate with Ronald Reagan, but he never again won a war. In fact, Caddell seemed increasingly impatient with politicians and disgusted by politics, ever angrier and less reliable over time. In his 1980 book, The Permanent Campaign, Sidney Blumenthal correctly described consultants as the new political bosses, the enduring seed of institutional memory in both parties. Caddell certainly qualified. Indeed, he had become a trophy pollster. He bestowed instant credibility on the politicians he chose to represent in congressional and gubernatorial races. When Caddell endorsed a candidate, fundraising, media buzz, and support from the party's special interests suddenly became easier. His firm was the place to be if you were a young pollster or strategist with ambitions. Caddell had become such a name that for a moment it seemed possible that he could reverse the natural hierarchy of political consultants. The presiding geniuses of the game, at least in the minds of the politicians, had always been the advertising guys. The killer ad would prove elusive, but the ability to destroy an opponent in 30 seconds seemed the most powerful juju imaginable, even more powerful than Mr. Prediction's ability to foretell the future, and media consultants assumed a position of power at the candidate's table. Pat Caddell, for one, felt underappreciated. He was a strategist, not merely a numbers cruncher. He was tired of overly artsy ad guys coming up with fancy, ineffective spots that had no basis in research. He wanted a more active hand in the formulation of campaign strategy and advertising. And now, for the first time, big money was beginning to roll in.